Yes. Welcome, everybody. Cannabis News with Joe Klare is November 21st, 2018. Presented, as always, by the Marijuana Times. Of course, you can click that video tab at marijuanatimes.org to find the show. A bunch of great articles there as well. You can also find the audio-only version of this show on Apple Podcasts. Search the Marijuana Times on Apple Podcasts. It is Thanksgiving Eve. For those of you who celebrate Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving. Although there will be an episode tomorrow. I don't take days off. You know, I know it's holidays. I'm going to do the whole eating thing and all that's going to be great. So when you see me in the next episode, I'll probably be very full. I may be complaining in the way that people have eaten too much. Very gluttonous people will complain that, oh, I ate too much. While millions of people, of course, starve around the world. But if I could send them turkey and it would stay good, I would. But it won't. So I'm going to eat it because it's here and it's cooking and that's what I'm going to do. Anyway, happy Thanksgiving Eve to everyone out there today. Talking about legalization, one of its most often overlooked positive aspects, positive side effects. Also, we'll talk about cannabis votes in Oregon and the legal age of cannabis and for cannabis possession in Canada. There's apparently a little bit of a debate over that. All of that is coming up. But first, of course, Cannabis News brought to you by Natureside, nature-side.com, and their organic, all-natural pesticides. Grow safe and poison-free. If you live in a state where cannabis cultivation is legal and you are one of those cultivators, you don't want to use harmful chemicals. You want to grow safe and poison-free. You don't want to use banned pesticides. You want to be regulatory compliant. Well, you can do all of those many things that I just mentioned at nature-side.com, a proud sponsor of Cannabis News. They're awesome. Go check them out. This first story from marijuanatimes.org. Legalization's often overlooked benefit economic growth. This is by yours truly over at marijuanatimes.org. Basically, if you see a lot of tweets, a lot of speeches by politicians or tweets by politicians or stories in the news, op-eds, one of the side effects of legalization, one of the many positive side effects of legalization, the one that's most talked about these days is ending racial disparities when it comes to marijuana arrests. It's a very big issue. It's a very important issue. I wholeheartedly agree that the racial disparity aspect of marijuana arrests is something that needs to be remedied, and it will be remedied when all arrests for marijuana are brought almost to zero, if not zero. I think it's a little bit much to think about it being completely zero arrests. I mean, alcohol has been legal for many, many decades now, but people still get caught for busted for moonshine. There's going to be some limitations and there'll be some lines that people cross over. But once the arrests are taken to a minimum when it comes to marijuana, then you'll see the racial disparities disappear because, the closer you get to zero, the less disparity there'll be that they're able to be. In any case, now the many, many positive aspects of legalization, I argue in this article that one of the most overlooked, and I think the one that affects the most amount of people in a positive way, is the economic growth and the economic activity spurred by especially legal cannabis sales, legal recreational sales in particular. Everyone, no matter whether you use cannabis or not or have ever used cannabis, can benefit from economic growth. More businesses in your town, more jobs, more investment coming in. Everyone benefits from that, whether they use cannabis or not, like I said. So I think that's one of the aspects that is often overlooked. And as an example, there was a story about from the New York Times about medical marijuana in New Zealand and the fact that the town was dying. This small town, 750 people, the population was falling, the town was dying. But now these two guys from this town are looking to open up medical marijuana processing plant, bring 100 jobs. It just reminded me that the one, like I said, what helps the most people? Yes, the racial disparity thing, that will help some people. People not getting arrested for cannabis, that will help people who have been arrested for cannabis or would be arrested for cannabis. But economic activity is a positive thing for all people in the town or wherever the dispensaries or the retail shops or the processing plant or the testing lab or the delivery service or the transportation service or wherever. All of these people benefit from economic activity, and the legalization, of course, spurs other economic activity. Marijuana and cannabis paraphernalia makers, cannabis magazines, cannabis festivals, all of the ancillary stuff that comes with legalization. Everyone benefits from, and it's awesome, and that's the point of what I was talking about in the article. This next story is from, well, I should go check where it's from. There we go. CannaLawBlog.com. How cannabis fared in the Oregon elections. Hint, very well. Hey, spoiler alert. Before you gotta say spoiler alert before you hit me with that. I didn't know they did very well. Maybe I was wondering, hey, did it do very well or did it not do very well? And then I would know. But then you just give it away in the title, and I don't know. I'll still read the article, and we'll still talk about it. But I'm disappointed in that breach of etiquette by the Canna Law Blog. Anyway, in Oregon, there's a lot of votes around the country in the election on November 6th. We've talked about a lot of them here on the show. And according to Canna Law Blog, cannabis not only won big around the country on Election Day 2018, but also on a local level within states that already legalized adult use marijuana, such as Oregon and California. Oregon in particular, a handful of cities voted to lift bans on recreational marijuana on November 6th. Nearly all of them succeeded. Oregon allowed cities and counties to opt out of legal sales, the legal sale of recreational marijuana. Many cities and counties, particularly rural areas in the eastern part of Oregon, did that. One of the few ways cities and counties can lift the ban is through local initiatives that are presented to the voters. On November 6th, some of those previously opted out Oregon cities were able to lift their bans through this process. Towns like Ontario, Klamath Falls, and Klatskannie, Sumter may have squeaked out a victory for marijuana recreational businesses. Sisters, the measure in Sisters, did not pass, but a lot of positive votes in Oregon for cannabis. And states that have legalized cannabis and have now legalized and have recreational sales for several years, people are generally in favor. And as I've said many times before, it sucks that, if you pass a legalization measure and you give towns and cities and other jurisdictions the ability to ban recreational shops, many of them will do so. But over time, they'll see the economic activity that I was just talking about, what they're missing out on in their town, and they'll begin to vote, or whatever process that they need to go through. They'll eventually get to the point where most of the towns and cities will allow it, and the ones that don't, that's, that's their prerogative. It's up to people in that town if they want to forego the economic activity, jobs, extra tax revenue that comes from that. That's up to them, but they can't be surprised or complain when people leave their town to go somewhere that has better job prospects. This next story from up north, Canada. Good old Canada. Cannabis is legal, but debate continues. Vast majority was set minimum age for cannabis above 18 years old. It's been less than a month when the story was written. It's now been a little over a month since Canada became the second country in the world to legalize the sale and consumption of recreational cannabis. Now a new study from the Angus Reid Institute, this is where this story is from, by the way, angusreid.org, finds 3/4 of Canadians believe the minimum age to purchase and consume cannabis should be raised. Only 27% say 18 is the right age. Nearly the same number of people believe that 21 would be more appropriate when it comes to age. We have a little chart here. What people say: 21% say the age should be 19. Only 3% say the age should be 20. I don't know why. That seems like such a weird number to us. It's an even number. It's divisible by 10. You think that 20 would be a very important number in human society, yet it's not. 18, 19, and 21 is what Canadians think. 13% of Canadians said that people should have to be older than 25 years old. God, calm down. Calm down. 25. Man. Anyway, that's what Canadians think about the ages. The provinces are going to set their own ages. Some have set it 19. Maybe there's a problem with that. Maybe they'll adjust it. Who knows? Legalization is still very new in Canada. Respondents between the age of 18 and 34 were twice as likely to say that they are pleased rather than disappointed to see marijuana available for recreational use, while the opinions of those age over 55 are inverted, with 23% are pleased and 43% are disappointed. So a lot of the older folks in Canada are disappointed in legalization. The younger folks are not disappointed, as it is here in the United States. Other findings: the age of 21 appears to be the dividing point for Canada. Half of respondents say the minimum should be 20 or under, while half say it should be 21 and older. As I said many times before, this, I mean, it shouldn't matter. I mean, these places you have, we've set ages in many places where you're considered an adult. 18 is a good age for me. I mean, you can die in a war in the United States at the age of 18. You can vote. I mean, two of the most important things you can do, supposedly, for your country, die and vote. And you can do those at 18, but this notion that you can handle a gun and you can handle democracy and functioning in a political republic, but weed, no, you're okay. You're okay. Here, go vote, and here's an M16, and go fight. But can't have any alcohol or marijuana. I don't know, but it's random, and a lot of it probably comes down to polls. That's what it'll come down to in the provinces and Canada. If there's an overwhelming number of people that say no, this age is too young, then the politicians will probably respond to that. Thanks, everybody, for checking us out here on Thanksgiving Eve on Cannabis News. Thank you for liking and sharing and commenting on the videos. Thank you to Natureside, nature-side.com, and the organic, all-natural pesticides. They're a proud sponsor of the show. Check out marijuanatimes.org. Share the stories, share the videos. We'll see you next time right here on Cannabis News.